So about, I don't know, I'm gonna say 5 months ago, maybe, yeah, about 4 or 5 months ago, I said, you know, I mean, I gotta join a gym. I need, you know, I sit on my butt all day long at work. I don't, you know, I've got kids, so as soon as I go home, I'm spending time with the kids. And of course, after that, I'm back on the computer anyways, checking out stuff, doing videos, you know, whatever. If not, sitting on the TV, the couch watching TV with the wife. So it's like, man, it's just, you have to get up and find some time to go to the gym. It's almost as if your best time is just to wake up super early in advance of work and go to the gym. My problem is I'm up kind of late all the time, you know, doing videos, doing stuff. I sure as heck am not waking up at, you know, 5, even 6 o'clock in the morning when I can wake up comfortably now at 7:30 and be at work by 8. So I just, you know, I went a few times, you know, obviously it's like, it's probably the story of everyone's life, whoever had a gym membership. I went a few times and then stopped going. But I remember when I took out the membership, I don't want a year contract. I'm not playing that nonsense game. I want a 6-month contract. So the 6 months contract, you know, it was like $20 a month, whatever, and supposedly like a $25 cancellation fee or something like that. So I go there today to cancel. Oh no, it's $100 to cancel. No, it's supposed to be $25. No, you have a quote, a Lime card. Lime card is $100 to cancel. I don't think so. I got a special term here. Normally you guys want people to stay for a year. I'm on a 6-month term. Don't think it's $100. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, it doesn't apply to you. Did you like pull up my account? Did you see anything under my account that said, you know, before you started telling me, no, it's $100, no, it's $100, no, it's $100? And isn't it funny that no matter what gym you go to, no matter who owns it, no matter what name brand gym it is, it's the same story. It's the same story every time you want to go and quit. You could even say, well, my term is 6 months. Great. I'll just wait till the end of 6 months. I got 1 more month. Anyways, I'll go ahead and just let that last fee hit and then call it a day. Only to find out that you've been automatically renewed because you didn't come in between, you know, the Monday at 12 o'clock noon and Tuesday at 2 p.m., which was the only open window for you to cancel your account. So sorry, you've been renewed for another 6 months. Have a nice day. Isn't it amazing? It's the story of everyone's life, of every gym. They always try to gouge you. They always try to get them fees from you no matter what. It is incredible. And then of course, when you go to the gym, at the time you want to, that it actually makes sense, you can't get on nothing. It's full. Everything's full. So, anyways, I want to share a little story with you. So, regardless, I'm canceling this turd, and no, I'm not paying $100. But I want to talk to you about the same thing I spoke about last night, the CFTC pushing off a date where they're supposed to finalize and put these rules in place, position limits and whatnot, for gold, silver, and some other commodities. On October 4th, they're supposed to have their little meeting and put it into place. It was supposed to take place, I believe, at first on the 22nd of September, which they said, no, we're going to push it back a little bit to October 4th. And now we're hearing, as of yesterday, October 4th, now we're going to have to push that back to October 18th. So keep in mind, we still may have a little window of opportunity for the banksters and friend, namely JP Morgan and company, to push on the market more if they want to. Now, as Max Kaiser said, when silver stays above JP Morgan's stock price, it's going to kill JP Morgan. It's going to cause them to go bankrupt. And if you'll notice, there's been a few times now, maybe 3 times I'm going to say, in which that has happened, where the silver price was above JP Morgan's stock price, but not for long, usually a matter of several days, a week, maybe 2 weeks, I'm not sure the exact time frame, and then somehow miraculously it would go back down to or below JP Morgan's stock price. So several days ago, maybe it was a week or more ago, I don't remember, I think it was, I mentioned to you a thought that I was having, since that appears to be the case, that hey, look at JP Morgan's down to $29, silver's up here at 36. I think silver might chase JP Morgan's stock price. and I'll be damned if it didn't. So it went down to 26 accordingly with that thought. Meanwhile, JP Morgan stock was above that for a little while. So now the new place that silver needs to be in order to stay above JP Morgan stock price is roughly above the $30 mark. And we're there right now, but just barely. We're just barely hovering over that. So they did a massive push down to cause silver to come way down with JP Morgan stock price. And out of all the things JP Morgan has a massive short position in, I don't know of anything other than silver. I really don't. I don't know of anything other than silver. So isn't it amazing that silver was the only thing that got completely smashed as far as everything else? Yeah, the bank stocks were tanking that week, and prior to the Dow, everything else was tanking pretty hard. Several percent one day, several percent the next day, several percent the next day, etc. And then all of a sudden Thursday kicks in, and while everything else is tanking again, all of a sudden gold and silver start tanking pretty hard. And then, not to be outdone by Friday, of course, Friday kicks in. Holy moly, again, gold went down about the same amount it did on Thursday. Silver, on the other hand, got crushed. But notice where it got crushed to. It got crushed to JP Morgan's stock price. And then went back up. Yesterday, we were up to $33 at one point. And right now, I think we're at like 30 and some change. $31.22. And we had the CFTC say, "Oh, we're gonna spread that out a little further before we finalize these rules and put them in place," because they've been mandated basically by Congress through the Dodd-Frank Act. You have to do this. You have to put something in place like this. So they're doing 50 new rule changes out of 9 commodities that had position limits. They're adding a bunch more. There's gonna be 28 or so now, and of course, silver would be one of them. And they have opened up another window of opportunity to push the price of silver down by extending it out to the 18th before they finalize. Either that, or there's something else taking place and silver's not going to go down, and they're giving JP Morgan some kind of, time frame to go bankrupt in some notable fashion, or some not notable, but some decent fashion, if you will. I don't know. So that's my thought. Yeah, we had a massive buying opportunity, but wherever JP Morgan stock price ends up, say from now until the 18th or 19th, somewhere around that time frame, and that's also assuming the CFTC finally holds their stupid meeting on the 18th and puts these damn rules in place, then we could see a little bit of downward pressure on silver, possibly. It just all depends on the opposite side of JP Morgan. All the paper, bandits were flushed out with the margin increase. So now they're going to get back in at $30 in 28, and some maybe a couple nights ago when it was 26 if they timed it perfectly. So how absurd would it be now that silver went to 50 and they put in those 5 margin increases in a span of 9 days, 3 in 1 week that were pretty heavy duty, crushing silver from $49 down ultimately to 32, and then it hovered at 35. It was kind of met the bottom at 35. That's a big move. That was a $15 move down when it hovered at 35, practically. So we have that to think about, and then recognize that it only went up $5 more basically. And then they did it again recently on Friday and said you have to comply by Monday evening, by the way. Massive sell-off in silver Thursday and Friday. All the insiders knew it in advance because there was a massive sell-off, obviously. Even before the CFTC came out with the statement, just to show you how the big boys have the inside information, which, again, it could have been mostly JP Morgan doing it. There's no telling. But why am I telling you this? Because we're at $30 now. And there's only 2 ways that they push the price of silver down. JP Morgan doing it physically, which they've been caught red-handed, so they seem to have not be doing that too much, and they're relying now on the CME group to just out of nowhere, oh, we're doing margin increases. So how absurd would it be now that they did another one when it was $40 and it pushed it down to 26 again? It's about a $15 move again, and then it rapidly snapped to 30. So there's a $10 move. 33, 32, we're at 31 and some change, whatever. In other words, I don't think there's a fat chance in hell that they could ever come out, even now, at $30 silver after doing all the margin hikes of this year when it was 50, again recently when it was 40 for no reason, because it never even made it back to 50, and now we're down to 30. And let's say JP Morgan keeps going down the tubes and they're down to $25 stock, $23 stock, $20 stock price. How could they possibly come out and say, the CME group say, yeah, we're going to raise margin increases again, margin hike again. We know it's $30, but we feel we need to do it again. They could, but they could do it. But it just makes the case that much harder for them to really pull that trigger when everyone's standing back saying this is not only absurd, this is impossible. That's when massive lawsuits are going to be flying against the CME group. You know, not and maybe the CFTC because they didn't get their act together in time. And you could legitimately do that because they were given a deadline, they failed by the deadline, they're massively behind the deadline on just doing what the Dodd-Frank Act says, and now they're extending it from September 22nd to October 4th to October 18th. If they didn't extend it from October 22nd to October 4th, would we have seen this massive crash? They would have already had position limits put in place. They would have had to liquidate their position limits. So the answer may be yes, we would have seen somewhat of a crash because they had to liquidate their position in advance of the new rules taking place. We might also see that whatever was dumped on the market to crash it down to $30 was a big portion of JP Morgan's short position, but they're not done yet and told the CFTC, listen, if we would have did the whole thing, we would have probably brought the silver down to like $10. And you know there'd be lawsuits flying. We can't have that. You know, blatant market manipulation at that point by you and us for allowing this to happen like that. So extend the CFTC meeting to maybe the 4th of October, and we'll try to unload some more slowly, a little bit more on the market. We'll do a mass up front, and then we'll let loose a bunch more. It's going to push the price of silver down some more, but at least it won't be as bad. And maybe they're finding out, man, we don't have enough time for that either. Extend it to the 18th of October before you have your meeting. We still need to unload, and we need that time frame now for sure. We need, 20 days basically of time frame to unload and liquidate the rest of our short positions. We'll try to do it over some kind of calm manner. Now that we've crashed it down, we know a lot of people are going to get into the paper game. Perfect timing, because they'll get pulled into the paper game while we're getting out of the paper game because we have to, because your rule changes are about to take place. So it's a win-win situation for everybody, in JP Morgan's eyes. That may happen, and maybe that's why they're extending the CFTC time frame for implementing the rules. Because again, as much as it may sound like it sucks, wouldn't it really suck if JP Morgan was told on the first day of rule change, by this law, everybody who has a massive position in paper has to get out of it by 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, whatever, a week from now. And by the way, because we're implementing the rule, everyone in the market, sorry about your luck if silver crashes because JP Morgan's about to unload heavy duty. And then everyone else would be stepping in as the price gets crashed and smashed. So it would be the final crashing of silver. JP Morgan's out of the picture. Whatever it crashes down to, that's it. Then get ready for the massive swings up. This is a simple opinion, thought of mine, nothing more. Could be completely way off. Then again, it could be somewhat right or all the way right. It makes sense, but it doesn't mean it's right because, again, I'm not sitting on the board of JP Morgan. I'm not at the high-level commissioner level of the CFTC or the CME group who knows exactly what's going to happen, when they're going to make it happen, and the result. And as you can see, as I said, the market was sold off in advance of these two things, or both of these things happening. One, the thing getting pushed back from September 22nd to October 4th. That happened. The sell-off happened prior to anyone really knowing that it was going to go to the 18th now. And two, the increase in margins that happened on Friday. Yet massive insiders must have knew because look at, silver went down 15% in a day, or 16 or whatever it was, in one day, Friday, before the CFTC even made the announcement. And then late that day, the announcement comes out. So you would think automatically CFTC, there's some insiders somewhere in which you guys must be complicit in, because if this meeting you guys are the CME group, if you guys are supposed to not talk to anyone, I've called in before to talk to them about things. They will not tell you about margin hikes. They will not tell you about anything in advance whatsoever. Therefore, how could the market know to sell off massively? The CME group, which I believe was owned by JP Morgan in some fashion, obviously has the inside scoop because they are JP Morgan, and JP Morgan's hold the most massive short position. Therefore, they're going to unload in advance of everybody else. It's just how it works. Free markets, free markets. How's that free market working out for us? Yeah, it sucks, but what's happening? We are gaining ground every day, every week. We are gaining ground to destroy these corrupt institutions. Slowly but surely, and as soon as we get close, oh, we're going to extend this a little further out. We get closer, we're going to extend it out again. You can't continue doing that, obviously. And they know it. They know their days are numbered. So we're dealing with this dragon slaying its tail one last final time in an attempt to, tell everybody, I'm a dragon, I'm powerful, and, oh, okay, I just died. And some of us got scraped by the dragon's tail right now when it was $40 and went to $30. But we know now that the beast is dying, then what happens? Then we have somewhat of a free market, a real free market. Then the price discovery mechanisms and whatnot that work in a free market will set the price of silver. We shall see. Anyways, that's it. Take care.